Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome back to another episode of the Grimaldo Group, where we love helping families create wealth through home ownership. And today we are honored to have with us a very special guest. His name is Angel Rivera. I'm an angel. He's an angel. And it's almost as if we're in heaven today, which is a great thing. And he is a special person because, at least to me, he serves as a mentor to me. I have several mentors, and he is a life and business coach. He loves helping people. In addition to being a life and business coach, he is a husband, he is a father, and he is a person that is always creating a positive impact in the lives of many. And that's why we love partnering with people such as you, Angel. And we, again, are honored to have you. And how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I'm excited to dive into all the goodness that we're going to talk about today, because it's definitely needed, especially in this season of life.
And we find ourselves today in beautiful, sunny San Diego, which is not too sunny today.
It hasn't been.
It hasn't been, but the sun has come out, and I went for a nice walk this morning. I like waking up and taking in all the goodness that God brings us every day. And I want to dive into how you came from point A in your life, wherever that point A was.
Mm-hmm.
We all come as babies to this world, right?
Absolutely.
And then there's a development that takes place. Sometimes there is a side streets or alleyways or even potholes along the way. But can you describe what you, as a person, bring to the table? I like
Absolutely.
talking about life in general. Here in the real estate business, we oftentimes bring people to the table of gaining access
Mm-hmm.
to their dream of home ownership.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about yourself.
So I truly believe, guys, that no matter what you put your hands to, real estate, business, the intricacies of the business, whatever it is that you're doing, it's just a vehicle, right? So it's all about the driver of the vehicle. So you can be successful in anything that you want to do. The only difference is what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, and how you're going to use that, or how it's going to use you to either allow you to rise or keep you down. So I always tell people, whether you're a life insurance agent, a real estate agent, whether you're an employee, an employer, a husband, a wife, a coach, whatever it is in life, you can maximize the potential of the amount of success you have, but it all falls and or becomes successful by the way you think. So for me growing up, I remember just yesterday, actually, on my Facebook profile, I posted a story. Have you ever seen that one poem that talks about the man that had a dream that was walking in the sand and he was walking next to Jesus?
Yes.
And it has this whole story of his hardship. And then at the end, he realizes that when he only saw one set of footprints, he actually realized that while he only saw one set, it was because the Lord was carrying him through all the circumstances in life. And that's where I come from. So I've been through a lot of stuff. We've all been through a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the difference is making the decision and having a definitive purpose to not allow the negative situations and or experiences or the trauma that we experienced in the past to dictate how we're going to live moving into our future. That's all up to us.
Now, they can create scars.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, I have a scar right here of a bad fall on an ATV.
Absolutely.
And I oftentimes, and when you forget about it, you look down and you see the scar, but it doesn't hold me down.
Yeah.
I have a metal plate in here.
Mm-hmm.
But we continue to pursue success. We continue to move forward despite whatever the circumstances may be surrounding us.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes us better persons. If we look at failure, a lot of times in real estate, when I have clients come to us to help them purchase a home or sell, oftentimes 2008 comes up. And they talk about, do you think it's going to crash, Angel? Look what happened in 2008. And they keep living in the past. Now, we can learn from the past.
Absolutely.
But we should continue to pursue the future and in the present, prepare, create the path.
Absolutely.
Reflect in the past, learn from the past, live the present, and prepare for a better future.
Absolutely. Most people live in flinch mode, is what I call it. They're always flinching. They're waiting for the past to happen again, as opposed to looking at the past, taking responsibility for the part they may have or may not have played in the past, whatever. But the idea is to be in the present moment and then to create your future, not be dictated and or take the past into your future and then react and or not react.
Yes.
By not creating your future. We're the only creation in existence that has the power to create. We can stop, we can process, we can evaluate, we can strategize, and then we can create. Awesome. No other creature in the universe can do that.
Now, you're a life and business coach.
Yes.
Can you provide more details? So, I mean, what is your mission?
Yeah, my mission currently is I help. And again, everybody should have a specific niche of who they help. But I specifically help Christians turn their life experiences into a thriving life coaching business without sacrificing their family or their faith. So that's what I do. So if you're a believer out there and you have life experiences, which we all do, I help you create a thriving life coaching business. And when creating a thriving life coaching business, we have to work on business.
Yes.
We have to work on mindset. We have to work on who you're going to serve. And that opens up so many amazing possibilities. And then we help you do so without compromising your faith and or time with your family.
Which is awesome. This is why the Grimaldo Group and Keller Williams Elite, which we all come together, we love associating ourselves with like-minded individuals. And this is why we take the time to sit down and interact and do these interviews, because it brings people such as yourself forward in the presence of many. And it's I mean, when people are wanting to succeed, and I keep going back to real estate because that's my bread and butter. That's what I do. Right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I find myself motivating people that come like talking about the idea of buying a property, and then they hold back and they say, Angel, I don't think we can. I don't think we're going to qualify. I don't think that we're able to. And it's very challenging for me, but I step up to the plate and I play ball. And then when I start providing them further insight and details as to the market, I bring them in, I reel them in. And after they get pre-qualified, we start painting a picture. And once they get the keys to the house, they look back and they said, we didn't think we were able to do this.
Absolutely.
But this is an awesome experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, again, we love here in the Grimaldo Group helping families create wealth through home ownership.
I love it.
And then that's why we come together with you. Life and Business Coach. That's an awesome title. Now, how does this environment that you involve yourself with, who do you surround yourself with to be successful? Is that important to think about?
Oh my gosh, that's huge. That's one of the biggest things that we have to 100% concentrate on, focus on, and be intentional about. Because our environment and the people that we surround ourselves, whether you believe or not, is going to make who you are. It creates the framework for everything you believe, everything you see, what you experience. It creates the foundation for that. So I make it a point, and I was just telling my wife the other day when I got back from a mastermind session with my coach, because I have a coach, right? So we all have to have somebody if we want to get to the next level. But I learned this weekend even more so that I have to protect my space. If somebody comes into my space and they even bring in an ounce of negativity, I'm going to stop it, going to give them a chance. And if they continue to bring that in, they are now going to be out of my inner circle, because I have to protect that space so much, because what's in between these two ears determines everything for my future, my family's future, and also for my client's future.
Yes. And I was talking to my nephew last night. He's 14 years old, approaching 15. And the good thing is he likes to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk, and I let him speak as well. And, we were talking about that. You are what you take in.
Absolutely.
You know how the saying says, you are what you eat? Well, everything we surround ourselves with, whatever we see on Netflix, whatever we see on TV, the movies we watch, the people we interact with, you're ultimately going to end up being what you're consuming.
Absolutely.
So life is made up of choices, is it not?
Absolutely.
And what we choose to bring into our lives is going to provide us the results, whether or not we like the results. So,
Absolutely.
so there's an important part in for us to do. And like going back to real estate, after all, again, that's my bread and butter, as I said. When I have some clients say, "Oh, my uncle's telling me I shouldn't buy, that it's not a good time to buy, or my cousin's telling me not to buy, or not to sell, or not to buy," and I ask them, can I ask you, what does your uncle do for a living, and does he currently own a property? And I've had many instances where they say, "No, my uncle's been renting; he's never purchased, and he works for someone." So here we are receiving advice from someone that's probably not looking out for your best interest necessarily.
Absolutely.
So we have to question, where is the information coming from? And because it can serve negatively in our lives,
Yeah.
just as you were mentioning.
And that's the mindset shift that we have to make, because we have people in our life that we love. We have people in our life that we have relationships with. And that's okay. That's fine. But you have to draw a boundary or a line in the sand, so to speak, to say, okay, hey, Theo, Thea, mom, grandma, grandpa, you guys love me. You raised me. You're amazing. But we got to draw the line in the sand when it comes to business, finances, and anything else that you may not be good at. And you have to be okay with accepting that fact. And so do they. So for me, if I want to progress in my spiritual walk, I have a spiritual mentor. I have my pastor who I speak to. My wife has our pastor who we speak to, and he coaches us once a week, one-on-one. We're with him because why? We want to make sure that our relationship with Christ is solid. We want to make sure that our marriage is solid. And then I have a business coach. So I want somebody who understands what it is that I do and has gone ahead of me, trailblazed, and has reached a level of success that I have not yet achieved. So I am going to do whatever I can to place myself around people that I can model after, develop the mindset that I need, and then take away strategies that I can begin to implement to get the same kind of success that they have in my business. And other things, finances. I'm not going to go to a broke person to learn about how to get financially free. I'm not going to go to somebody who doesn't have a business if I want to have a striving business. And somebody's not going to go to a real estate agent who has never sold a house before. They want to go to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's like going to fitness. You're not going to go get a trainer who's 300 pounds and eats donuts. You want to go to a trainer who's actually has been through it. But this is the thing, guys. The most beautiful part about this whole process is if you can find somebody who went through the struggle and achieved success, that's the difference. And this is why I tell everybody, learn how to turn your life experiences into a thriving business, because stories sell, facts tell. And if you can find somebody who has overcome the hardships of life and they have transitioned into not allowing those transitions or those hardships, those circumstances, the trial, the tribulations, whatever you want to call them, to determine who they are, but they use them to get from where they are to where they want to be, then you found yourself gold.
Interesting. Now, we're talking about envisioning a better life. At least that's how I've seen it. When we're talking about success, we're dreaming in essence, right?
We are.
And if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
There you go.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then last night in this conversation with my nephew, I was telling him, you always have to shoot for the stars. Okay?
Yep.
Don't limit yourself, because you shoot high. And then, if you don't make it as high as you thought, but you're always striving and pursuing for excellence in whatever it is that you do. And what are your thoughts on vision boards? And the reason I'm asking is because I didn't even know the concept about vision boards. I'll be honest with you. And I'm in my 50s, and I just came across recently this concept or idea about vision boards. But I can tell you this much: throughout my whole life as a kid, we were 8 siblings, we're 7 now. My brothers and sisters would always tell me, "You're such a dreamer, Angel. You're such a dreamer." And I always dreamed about the future, about life. I, for example, would see the Brady Bunch show, and I would look at the house that they live in, the cars that they drove.
I remember that show.
You know what I'm saying? I would always say, how can I get to that level? Okay. because I lived in the inner city in Jersey, and I had a great childhood, loving parents, but the fact remains is we didn't live in a house like the Brady Bunch. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't go to the vacations like they did, and so on. And again, I appreciate the fact, and I thank God for the parents that I had, very loving parents. But I always had that desire to grow and expand and experience newer and greater things. So I would look at magazines, I would look at houses, I would look at cars. Some folks are probably out there saying, this guy's such a materialistic person. Not necessarily so. I like aspiring for a better life. And if I can create positive impact in people's lives through what I can succeed in, that's a great thing, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't use this concept about vision boards where I have on a piece of paper. For those of you that don't know, have never heard the concept of vision boards, you in essence start putting on some form of board, or it could be a virtual one. What is it that you aspire to? Want to have a business? Would you like to have a better house? Would you like to have 20 kids, a big family, a farm, whatever it is? And since I'm in real estate, I hope there's a nice house in there and that I potentially can help you with. But those are the things that I would do in my mind. Looking at magazines, my vision board was in my mind, and always pursuing in whatever profession, and now in real estate. So what are your thoughts on vision boards, this whole concept?
Yeah, there was a lot there. So one of the first things I want to say is, if you're, and I want you to catch this, guys, if you're not willing to accept failure as the roadmap to success, you're never going to fail enough to succeed.
Interesting.
Right? So this is, you're going to be bad at something before you're good at something. And the only way you're going to get from bad to good is to try and fail, try and fail, try and fail until you try and succeed. But if you allow failure to become something personal that you attach to your identity, then you're never going to fail enough to succeed, and you'll never reach that goal. Now, in regards to vision boards, they're very huge. They're very awesome. But I've done enough vision boards with people where I saw people write their vision out and they've never attained it. It just becomes like something they just did, like a workshop. They just went and took a class and they dreamed and they dreamed. And that's all it is. A dream to most people is just that. It's never going to be a reality.
Interesting.
It's a Disney show. It's something that they thought of when they were a kid one day, and it's not going to be attainable for that moment. But for that moment of doing that vision board, it felt good. But really deep down inside, in the DNA of my thoughts of who I am and what I can do, I'm not really going to achieve that. So vision boards are good, but you got to set people up for why they're doing the vision board, or else the vision board is just going to be another exercise or an arts and crafts activity.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the mindset or the belief, the focus, the determination, and the wherewithal inside of them, and if they don't have the foundation to actually believe that the next activity, like a vision board, is something that they can actually attain, and they believe that they can do it, then it's never going to happen.
Well, I think you have to be all fired up for it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be something that you're passionate about. If you're just doing arts and craft as an exercise, it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's why, for me, my vision board was in my heart and in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be in law enforcement. And as a kid, I would see state troopers and so on. And I ended up being in law enforcement to the point where I retired. And I oftentimes would look at homes and talk to people about properties and so on, till someone said, why don't you get your license?
Yeah.
You keep talking about real estate. But it was that vision of me doing and impacting other people's lives was in my mind and in my heart. I pursued it. I probably didn't have an actual vision board, but in fact, I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was within.
Yeah.
And that's the important, that you are passionate about what it is that you're
doing. Exactly.
If you dream about it and you're passionate about it, then you have to plan. But with the plan, it's just like being in the military or any mission that you're out and about with. You plan. You need to strategize, and then you need to execute.
Absolutely.
And when you execute, as anything we do, it's not 100% proof. There is potential for failure.
Mm-hmm.
That happens with anything, with science. Oftentimes, lately we've been hearing, follow science. Well, science has its failures. It's a trial and error in many occasions. So that's how it is with life. Now, with failure, I have, as you, faith in the Almighty God.
Mm-hmm.
And I like going back to the Bible. And there's one verse that popped out to me, and it says in Matthew 6:33, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be given to you as well, right? If you put in my life, I like always striving to put God first in my life. Now, does that mean that I'm going to live without failure?
Absolutely not. There's I go to there's another scripture, and it's God, it's not coming to my head right now, but it says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. So in that scripture right there, it's one of the Psalms, I believe it, what it is. God, I can't, it's just mind blown right now that I don't remember that. But even in the scripture you just mentioned right now, Matthew 6:33, it says, but first seek his kingdom and his righteousness. So there's a prerequisite to that. You have to first seek him and his righteousness. So stop right there for a second. What does that mean first? What does it mean to seek his kingdom and his righteousness? And then this will happen. But yeah, no, failure is, read your Bible. It's an X-rated book. It's a book of struggle, struggle, struggle. It's a book of redemption. It's a book of jacked up people being rescued by a God who is crazy and madly in love with you. And when I saw that for what it was, when I saw it as a God that is so madly in love with me that he would send his only son to die for me, to restitute me, to bring me, to restore me, to bridge that gap from where I was to where he was, I was like, oh my God, this is it. My creator is seeking me. The little that I can do is seek for him. So when I started doing that, it was awesome and it changed everything. But to go back to the failure, failure is a part of being human. And it's a part of growing. How many of you right now have ever grown when things are good? Oh, wait a minute, because it doesn't happen. When things are good and awesome and going exactly how you want them to go, we get comfortable. And we get to a point where we don't seek his kingdom and we don't seek his righteousness for the most part. Now, when we get to a point where we have what we want and we attain what we want and we put him first and his kingdom first and his righteousness first, then when we attain those things, we are constantly giving him honor and glory because we now know that it's because of him and his power and his might that has given us what we got. And that's the beautiful part. So we'll go back to me for a second here. I went through such a crazy time. And even up until the last 4 years, my wife and I, we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go here. Let's go there. I mean, we were running circles. We got our life insurance license together. I've gotten my real estate license. And it's like, we've been around amazing people trying to do speaking this and go do this. And it never worked. Why? Because all along, God has been saying, here I am, here I am. Seek me, seek my face, seek my righteousness, and I'm going to make your path straight. And once I got that down, Angel, my goodness, life changed. And it's continuing to change. And I think that we have to embrace the fact that the life experiences that we go through, and get this, guys, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And when you can have a mindset that says everything that comes my way is not here to be against me, but it's here for me. When you can change your mind now starts saying, I'm going to start to work in your favor to help you come up with solutions to your problems. And that's where everything changes.
Interesting and very wise words. And going forward with ambition and aspirations. Some people see it as a negative thing, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You're always aspiring too much, Angel. You're always, you're so ambitious.
You're hanging with the wrong people.
And you're always talking about doing better. Why don't you just accept who you are and be satisfied with what you have? And what are your thoughts on that? Because I have a verse that I came out to me and it says in Psalm 24, may he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to Psalm 33:11. But the plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purpose of his heart through all generations. It's in Psalm 37:4-5. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart.
Amen.
My thought or my belief is that my ambition, however negative that may sound, my ambition and aspirations, if they align with God's plans in my life, with His will, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
And I believe that they will happen. Of course, if I start doing my own thing, okay, then there's going to be issues there.
Absolutely.
Right? So where is my heart? I've heard the concept of the law of attraction, which I kind of see it in a certain way. Those of you that don't know about the law of attraction, it's just a concept that you will attract what you bring to your mind. But I always go back to the Bible. At least that's how my faith is.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that if you pursue with your thought process and you put forth the effort, you're going to read books that relate to whatever it is that you want to get good at, then you're going to grow.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about it. You're thinking about that beautiful car that you want to buy, and you're going to put forth the effort. It's just not sitting under a tree and thinking about, oh, geez, I want that beautiful house. I want Angel to find it for me. And then you just sit there.
Yeah. You're going to attract who you are. And that's where the law of attraction, the secret, all this stuff is biblical. They just changed it and they made it metaphysical. They've changed it and they turned biblical principles into universe figures. They changed it to worship. I'm going to say this. They have taken biblical principles in the world, and this is okay. We just got to decipher it. And they turned us from looking at the creator to worshiping the creation. So, and that's easier to do because it takes responsibility off of us. And then we can treat the universe as our divine bellhop, as our quote unquote genie to get what we want. That can work for some people because there is an enemy out there that wants to distract you, that wants to give you what you need so he can keep you as further away as he can from God. So that's in a whole nother talk. But the point is here, when we're going out there and we're seeking his righteousness, we're seeking his will, we're seeking his way, guys, your life is a precious gift, and everything that happens to you is a story that is creating who you are. And if we can rely on him for his power, for his might, it's like being in a relationship. If you're married out there, I'm married, Angel's married, we can take from our spouse and be selfish, or we can give to our spouse and be a servant. But the only way that we can give to our spouse is by knowing who they are. And then in turn, they know who we are. So they reciprocate the process, but from a love, not a selfish standpoint. The beautiful thing about getting aligned with God is that he knows who you are already. He knit you in your mother's womb, and he knew you before you were even in existence. The missing part here in the formula is we don't know him. And by seeking his face, we get to know who our creator, our father is. In turn, now we know what he wants for us. So now when we see the word, it's not a book of do's and don'ts. It's a book of, I'm trying to protect you. If you can just come into my presence, I will pave your ways. And even though you're going to mess up, you're going to get cut, you're going to get bruised, you're going to get hurt along the way, I'm going to use those to form and fashion you, and also use them for my glory. Because when those things happen to you, and when you reach the levels of success that you're about to reach, you're going to give me honor, and then I'm going to be a reflection through your life to the world. And that's beautiful.
And that reflection creates an impact, a positive impact in those around us.
Yes. Yes.
And going back to the vision boards thing, because that's a topic that I've seen circulating around a lot. There is a verse, and I always have difficulty pronouncing this book in the Bible, Habakkuk.
Habakkuk, you said right? Yep.
And it's in chapter 2, verses 2-3, and it says, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay." So sometimes with these vision boards, as I indicated, I had my vision apparently within my thought process. I would look at the magazines. I would look at things, education and expanding. Sometimes it takes time. But if we stay on it,
yes,
we stay on track, just like you were indicating, you're going to have some little curveballs thrown at you. You're going to have to stay in the game, because if you walk away and you're only in the second inning, And how are you going to get to the finish line?
And that's what happens with a lot of people. They go to seminars, they read books, they go to church, they see all these people on the stage. What's happening is you're seeing their highlight reels, but you're not seeing the behind the scenes of what it took them to get there. Because most of the times, I guarantee you that some of the people that you see on stage and you see their successes, for the most part, if you were to go behind the scenes and see what they did to get there, half of you probably would never do what they did. Some of you, some even me included, wouldn't want to even do what they did to get there. So never look at somebody and say, I want to be like that. Look at yourself and be like, what do I want? And that's the beautiful thing about a vision board is do one in any state that you're in, hang it up, and then now do the process of renewing your mind. Do the process of becoming who you need to be to get those things. Because check this out, and this is huge. If you did not if you do not have to transform who you are right now, then you would already have what's in your mind. You would already have it. You wouldn't need a vision board. So if you have a vision board and you want that house, there's nothing wrong with having things. The problem is when things have us.
Yes.
Right? Imagine being able to have options, guys. And that's the whole goal here. The whole goal is to have options. We know a lot of wealthy people. They have things, but the things don't have them.
Correct.
They could lose it all and they'll still be who they are.
Yes.
They don't want to, obviously. But when you're wealthy and you're well off, why would you want to still drive a 1996 Honda Civic? Some people do. That's okay if that's what you want. But for the most part, it's not bad to drive a 2021 whatever you want to drive, or 2022 whatever you want to drive. You worked hard, reward yourself. But the point is, guys, get a vision board, put it up, then start to become the man or woman you need to be. And if you don't know who you need to be, then that's where somebody like me comes into place. I come in and I help you see those things that you cannot see. Because sometimes when you're in a picture frame, you can't see around you. You only see what you see. But when somebody's looking out from the out looking in, they can see the picture frame. They can see we got to adjust this. You didn't see that. That's what's important.
And you mentioned paths. And there's one more verse. I mean, today's
it's all good. I love it.
And Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him. He will make straight your paths. And you mentioned paths, and that touched me, because if we're just doing our own thing with our own capabilities, I mean, God gives us hands, arms, a mind, our legs. We need to, in faith, put to action these vision boards, these ideas, these aspirations. If I want a degree, what do I have to do? I have to enroll, right? I have to pick a university. I have to try to get in. And then I have to have the means of find out how am I going to pay for it? Or am I going to get myself in debt? That's a whole different subject.
Absolutely.
So you know what I'm getting at. So these things
but all those things happen because we lean on our own understanding. We don't seek counsel. We don't seek wisdom. We just want to be the man. We want to be the woman. We want to be independent. We want to be outside of the box. And guys, that's all pride. Don't let pride come in and cloud your judgment. Seek wisdom, seek counsel. The best CEOs in the world. Look at Henry Ford. If you've never read about Henry Ford, he had a mastermind. He had 31 people around him that had specialized knowledge, where if somebody asked him a question, he would hit a button and get the answer. Henry Ford was, I got to go be the man in engineering. I got to go be the man in marketing. No, he was a visionary, and he knew how to bring people together for one definitive purpose. And then he hit buttons and said, I need the answer for this. I need this. I need that. How do I do this? How do I do that? He's just a button pusher, but a visionary. And then he was able, because of his conviction, his purpose, his stature, and his power in his mind, he was able to bring these people together and work as a team for a greater purpose bigger than themselves. And I want to come back and say that scripture. Thank you, babe. She texted me. I got it. It's Psalm 23, y'all. Psalm 23. And he tells you in there, though you will walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil. Why? Because I am with you. So right there, guys, he tells you you're going to go through the peaks and the valleys and the deserts, but you will reach the mountaintop. because I am the God of the peaks and I am the God of the valleys, and I am going to get you to where you need to get to, as long as you, like this last scripture says in Proverbs, your heart. Where is our hearts going? Where's our heart's intention? And what are we going to do to make that happen? So apply that to your business, apply that to your life, apply that to being a father, a mother, a husband, a wife, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a real estate agent, a business coach, a life coach, whatever it is, you can apply all this and become successful.
So it requires effort on our part
100%.
in every areas of our lives.
Yes.
Because I encountered some that say people just have to accept who I am.
Now,
This is who I am, and that's just the way it's going to be. And then they start having difficulty in their marriage, in their business, or at their jobs. I mean, I was listening to Patrick Bet David, who is on YouTube on Valuetainment is his show, and he was mentioning how he dated a girl years ago when he was single, and he jokingly was saying, yeah, I mean, she was talking about how bad of a boss she had, and so she quit. And in the conversation, I asked her, how many other jobs have you had? I mean, the last 5 jobs, I've had horrendous bosses, so I quit. So that's five different bosses. The question is, would you not think it's potentially you, the problem?
yeah.
Okay, because oftentimes that could be the case. If we don't look at ourselves in the mirror and we don't conduct some form of self-analysis as to what direction I'm going to, and where the people around us are just going away, we should be asking those questions.
It's crazy, all because I guarantee you that when people come to you as a real estate agent or come to the company, the Grimaldo Group, you guys educate them. You guys do an analysis of the market. You guys do an analysis of probably the comparables of what has sold, what has not sold, what price point, communities, schools, neighborhood, what kind of malls, highways, they do this full analysis to make sure that your investment into the property that you're about to enter into is not only good for the now, but it's going to be good for the future. So it ends up becoming an investment for your future, right? Why don't we do that with our life? Why don't we do that with our mindset, guys? If you are not where you want to be right now, it is a lie from the enemy, from our past experiences and trauma that tells you you are who you are, accept it, and be done. That is quitting. That is being in the stands. We got to be on the court. We got to be in the game. We got to be playing. Life is like a game. I just got back from a mastermind, and there was a gentleman that was speaking to us for 2.5 hours. My coach hired his coach to come and speak to us. So you see how this happens? I am a coach.
It's a chain.
I have a coach. He has a coach. It's a never-ending chain. I guarantee that guy has a coach. So the point is that this guy just sold his business for $892 million. This guy never has to work again in his life. But somebody asked him, how did you get there? He goes, I see life as a game. And when you can see life as a game, you can gamify it. And what does that basically mean? I don't know if you're into video games, but sometimes our kids play and they're playing Super Mario Brothers. I'll go back in the day when we used to play Super Mario Brothers, right? You got level 1. But in order to get to level 2, your skill sets, the things that you use, the level ups, the powers that you get are not going to get you to level 5 if you continue to have level 1 skills, powers, and enhancements. So in life, you got to stop and ask yourself, I cannot take the same life skills mindset that I currently have to get to where I want to be, because if I could, I'd already have it. So we got to see it as a game, not something that's happening to us before us. And we have an opportunity to level up and to do the things that are uncomfortable. And that's the hard part, man. The hard part is breaking through the past identity, because we take things so personally.
Yes.
And it ends up becoming part of our DNA. And then we end up becoming self-saboteurs of everything in our life, from jobs, businesses, relationships, everything.
Yeah. And so we have to learn to brush off, pick up pieces, move forward.
Yeah.
Development. And this is
Dude, you got to go deep, guys. You got to go into the root.
So
you
this
got to
is
go into the past pain.
Affirmative. And then not only that, the concept of learn to earn.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just want to earn and things, fall from the sky upon us,
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen if you're not putting forth the effort to learn, develop, training and development. What are your thoughts on training and development?
If you do not train and if you do not develop, you're going to continue to get what you got. My wife and I right now, we have been in a 4-year training and development process for the life that we want to create. Every single week, we're in coaching calls. Every single day, we're reading a book. Before we go to bed, we're reading a book. When we wake up, we're reading, we're watching, we listen. Before Angel got here and I was working, I had worship music playing. Why? Because I constantly want to feed my subconscious mind information that's going to allow me to be the person, to be the man, to be the husband, to be the coach that I need to be at a subconscious level, that I no longer have to think about who I am. I know who I am. And when you can show up like that, you are going to be contagious, and your energy that you exude out of yourself is going to attract people just like you, or people that see something in you that they want, and you're going to repel the negative people. The negative people are not going to
be around you.
They're not going to want to be around. They can't. It's like a force field. They can't be around you. You're going to irritate them, and they're eventually going to be like, yo, I don't even want to be around Angel. And then you bring Angel and Angel together, forget it. Forget it. You're going to get around them and mess around and get transformed.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Now, so anyone can reach their capacity, or probably even far exceed their capacity.
There's no capacity. Take that out. There's no limit. God is so vast. He is so powerful and amazing that there is no limit to what he has for. He's a limitless God. We are limited. But when we can get access to him and we completely submit under his authority, anything and all things are possible. And it's such an amazing journey when we can get to that point.
Now, development, learning, all fine words, but they need to be placed into action. It's like faith. Faith without action is kind of like on one leg.
Absolutely.
So I always tell people, you got faith, then act.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're praying to the good Lord above, may God's will be done, you can't sit on idle mode.
Yep.
You got to get into that car, turn the keys, ignition is going, you hear the engine firing up, and you're moving. Okay? Faith in action. And I was listening again to Patrick Bet David, and he was one of his concepts, or what he was talking about, was if you really have passion and desire to develop yourself, then pick 20 books on the following subjects. One being sales, if you're into sales, negotiations, human nature, and money. Okay? Those 4 topics, or whatever other topics, if you like cooking, if you really want to be good at it, but he was talking about sales, negotiations, human nature. How do you interact? A lot of times we could be the best dentists, for example, but we don't expand our business because we're just good dentists. And we're good at dealing with the actual work, but we don't interact well with people. We don't market ourselves well. So if you're lacking in that area, you need to find 20 good books with good reviews, okay? And you're going to consume these books. 20 books on interpersonal skills, for example, if that's an area in which you're lacking, and learn to develop that skill. And then you're going to start seeing improvement. Do that for 2 years, he says.
Yeah.
20 books on that particular subject. Read them, live them, consume them. And in 2 years, if you do that, you're going to look back and you're going to say, wow, look at where I'm at now. And you're going to be succeeding in life.
Yeah.
The opportunities are there. The other thing is, when we're acting upon our development, we can hit what may appear to be as walls.
Absolutely.
But all of a sudden, if you just keep at it, all of a sudden a wall is an opportunity.
When you hit a wall, that should be something like, I have an opportunity to do something different here. I have an opportunity to grow. I like to see life as the supernatural ability of becoming. So if you think that you're just Angel isn't a real estate agent. That's not who he is. That's not what he is. That's what he does. Yeah. Right. So I grew up in Chicago. I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I saw a lot of stuff joined the Navy. After the Navy, I became a salsa dancer for a long time. And then I became a club promoter for a long time. And then I became a festival promoter for a long time. And then after that, I got into personal development. And then I got into network marketing, and I became a leader in network marketing. Then from network marketing, I became a coach. And then from becoming a coach, I became a speaker. And then from becoming a speaker, I became who I am right now. Then I became a husband and a father. Just you're always in the process of becoming, and that is a beautiful process to embrace. And when we can understand that it's the becoming, the supernatural ability to have the desire and have the willingness to become, that's where life becomes interesting. Yeah. So if you're watching this video right now and you're like, my life isn't interesting, man, I'm stuck, man, I'm bored, I don't know what to do, contact me, contact Angel. Man, we will get you unstuck, and we'll get you to see the beautiful that you cannot see in yourself or in your circumstances, because we were all created uniquely, and we all have something to bring to the world to impact the people that we are around, guys. Amen. There are so many people in this world that need your story to be told so they can get motivated and then inspired. And this is one thing I want to leave you with. Motivation, guys, is this. Motivation is external. Motivation is good, but it's not going to sustain you. Motivation is like going to a seminar, going to an event, getting like motivated to get into action to do something, but it doesn't last long. Yeah. Motivation is good, but what we want to get to is we want to get to inspiration, and inspiration comes from within. We need to be able to find something that inspires us from within, so that we can go out there and motivate other people, and then teach them to become inspired within, so they can go and start the process of becoming.
Amen. Again, going back to the conversation that I mentioned that I had with my nephew, 14-year-old kid. And, when I see a youngster receptive, attentive to conversations such as this, and I like picking his brain, challenge young folks when they allow to be challenged. In this case, I believe he is. And I told him, there is always room for improvement. Okay. What you do now, there's that compound effect.
Absolutely.
What you do now, be it good or bad, because the compound effect can be a negative compound effect. You don't want that. You want the positive compound effect. Mm-hmm. And what you do now and who you surround yourself with is going to tell a story down the road. Mm-hmm. And so there's always room for improvement. Even if you're 90 years old, you were mentioning this individual who made that amount of money and doesn't have to work for a day in his life, but I can almost guarantee you that person's not going to be in idle mode.
No.
When I retired and I received a pension and so on, I was sitting in my living room and I was twiddling my fingers, and I started asking myself, what am I doing? Am I going to sit like this every day, twiddling my fingers? So I said, this is my opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity to learn something new and improve and develop myself further, so I can maintain myself as a positive impact for people around me.
Absolutely.
And I always have that. And that's what I was advising this young man, my nephew, again, who's only 14, about to be 15, how you always should be looking for ways to improve your everyday living.
Absolutely. I always say, when you stop growing, you start dying.
Exactly.
That's the day you start dying is the day you make a choice to stop growing. And I take it now. I mean, I'm even now to this day, as I grow as a human being, as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a person, as a business coach, life coach, I always try to figure out ways in my life that I can enhance. And one of the things that I'm doing now is like how I show up. We used to have an office, and it was awesome. And we had a nice facility that I co-managed, and we would do live events all the time. COVID tore that up, tore the whole industry up, where live events were gone. A lot of lives got destroyed. A lot of businesses were demolished. So we came into our home, and my wife, she's an interior designer, and she was able to, our garage was a storage facility, and we transformed it into an office and into this studio that you now see. Now that was done, that was great. But then I told myself, I got into this mode of wearing jogging pants and shirts because I was able to work from home. And then when I got onto the camera with my clients, I would just change my shirt, didn't do my... And I came and I operated in my office as if nobody would see me. But you know who saw me? I did.
Yourself.
I did. So I told my wife the other day, I said, babe, you're an interior designer. I need you to go and pick some clothes out for me because I'm not good at that. I will wear joggers. I will wear a hoodie. I will go to work and still do it. But there was something inside of me that wasn't portraying who I need to be. I want to be an A player and I want to attract A players. But if I'm showing up subconsciously and consciously in my life as a C player, when A players come around, if they do, because an A player is not going to be attracted to a C player, but if they do, if by somehow an A player comes and be a part of my team, it's only a matter of time before they bounce. They're not going to stay around. So in order for us to be successful, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And you got to attract A team players and you got to be ahead of them in order to, or at least be growing so you can keep those people around you. And boy, oh boy, does life change when you're around A players. And when an A player see you in such a way that you have something that they want, now it's like a centrifugal force of everybody bringing value to everybody's life. And then we go up instead of going down and staying stagnant.
Now, not everyone is going to be an alpha. You have the gatherers, you have the hunters, and the gatherers. But if a hunter is complementing what they do with good, positive gatherers, and vice versa, the gatherer unites with a hunter. I mean, you can be a hunter and
you have a tribe now.
Exactly.
You have a tribe.
So, I mean, like, again, I was listening to Patrick. I like listening to his show, and he was mentioning, a good hunter is going to see the value in the gatherers.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because sometimes a leader, an alpha, is go, 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 and all of a sudden you'll have a gatherer that's going to bring a good idea.
Absolutely.
That the hunter has not seen, that the leader has not observed. And they're bringing value to the table.
Absolutely.
So we have to acknowledge the value that people around us bring to the table. It's just not, we put ourselves on a pedestal and then that's it. You do as I say. If you're considering what people are bringing to the table and you acknowledge their value, you're going to be better at whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. People have taken the word alpha and all these different terminologies and they think it's bad. And it can be. You can have a narcissistic alpha. You can have a psychopathic alpha. Stay away from those people. You know what I mean? But if you can be an A player as a gatherer, then you're going to attract an A player leader. If you're whatever role that you play in life, be an A player of that role. And then you're going to attract A players that play other roles. And then you're going to have an A plus tribe. And that's the goal. If I needed a gatherer per se, or I've heard other illustrations of using sea creatures and animals. You're a dolphin, you're a shark, you're a whale, whatever the case may be the best shark you can be the most ethical shark you can be. Because sharks they're there for a reason, right? Whales are there for a reason. Yes. Because of the fallen world, certain things happen, but God created everything for a specific reason. And if we can find the purity of those reasons and allow them to be under the submission of the Creator, then everything works in harmony. Exactly. And that's the goal. Work in harmony with yourself, with others, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Isn't that awesome? And, I've heard some folks recently, I heard one individual say, oh, it's Monday again. I got to go back to work. If we could find a way where we say, man, I'm looking forward to Monday. Actually, every day should be a Monday in a good way.
Yeah, every day's a Friday.
Correct. Every day's Friday then. Because I found myself sometimes, 3 weeks in a row working 7 days a week. But if I'm enjoying what I do and I'm interacting with people, I've had clients say, well, I mean, I'm only available on Sunday. I know it's Sunday. I says, I'll be there.
Yeah.
If I can make the arrangements with my wife, and I can be there and help my clients, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it fulfills me.
Absolutely. It's like you right now, this video right now that you're watching. Angel's a real estate agent. I'm not a real estate agent. But you best believe that because he has formed a relationship with me, and now I see him in this presence, you're seeing him here, and he's giving you personal development. He's giving you mindset hacks. He's talking about the word. This is pouring into his community. And when you think of a real estate agent, who are you going to think of? You're going to think of Angel. Why?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be like, man, he has integrity. He has a heart. He knows what he's talking about. This is pouring into his business, his life. Me, this is pouring into my business and my life. Another example that I'll give you, because maybe you don't have a business yet, but maybe you're married. I attracted an amazing, beautiful, in my personal opinion, a Proverbs 31 virtuous woman. She is fantastic, but I could take advantage of that. If my heart wasn't right, if I wasn't growing, I can destroy that. But because I put myself in submission to the word and I'm growing as a man, I try to figure out how I can add value to her, how I can serve her, and how I can honor her so that she in turn continue to do what she does. And now we have a relationship that is harmonized and that is glorifying God and that constantly grows out of love rather than issues and problems. And you didn't do this for me, I didn't do that for you. Offense, offense, offense. And then what does that lead to?
Breakdown.
Breakdown, which leads to a divorce, which is rampant in our country. So whatever it is that you're going for, guys, grow, grow, grow.
Yeah.
Learn, learn, learn. Be a student and then execute.
That's the key word right there. We have to finish off with execute.
Do it.
Plan, strategize, execute.
Yeah, I have an acronym that I use with my clients. It's called PDCA. You plan, do, check, and adjust. Plan, do, check, and adjust. I have another acronym that I use called the BEAR cycle. It's called belief. It's called energy, action, results. Belief, energy, action, results. The BEAR cycle grows, grows, grows. So there's all these amazing acronyms that if you apply them into your life, you're gonna get results.
And it, in the path of going and to the location in your life that you want to get to, you have to sometimes adapt and overcome obstacles.
Absolutely.
You can't just sit there and say, I can't overcome this. No, figure it out, because your life depends on it.
Yeah. And nobody, when you watch a movie, do you watch a movie because everything's perfect in the movie? Absolutely not. When you watch, Hollywood has this down to a science. They know that there has to be a likable character. This likable character, they pull you in to get emotionally attached to that character. And then that character goes through an emotional hardship of some sort. They go through a tragedy. They go through something that is, oh my God, I feel for them. Oh my goodness. And then life happens to them and then they overcome and then it's success. It's like this playwright that goes through life. So this is my thing to you. Your life experiences are so important because people never root for the person at the top. They root for their underdog. They want to see the success story. It's a dream, it's a struggle, then it's a victory. People want to know that you can relate to them. So if you're hiding your struggles under the bush, you're not going to succeed. You got to learn how to be vulnerable. You got to learn how to be transparent, and you got to learn how to turn your struggle into a victory. And when you can do that, people are going to be like, how did you do it, Angel? How did you go from here to there? Because this is where I'm at. They relate to you. They can correlate their struggles with yours. And then they're going to start thinking to myself, well, if Angel can do it, then maybe I can do it. Can you teach me how?
Yes. I mean, and when for example, when I have someone approach me, hey, can you help me with this? If for any reason I don't have that response, I'm going to get someone that can provide that assistance.
And that's why a team is so important.
Affirmative. And so it's the concept of working in a team as a pack, if you will. And if we bring that to everyone around us,
Absolutely.
We're going to be a better community, a better society, and does everyone bring only their positive to the table? No, there's negative things or failures or weaknesses, I should say. But we can acknowledge the weaknesses that we have, and we can focus on the positive.
That's it.
What are the good things? What are my talents? We can go on about scripture, the story about, the folks that had talents and one, he did nothing with it. Okay. Then he had the other one that multiplied it. What are we doing with our talents?
Exactly.
Are we developing ourselves? And that's the concept that I keep bringing forth.
And that's the beauty. You bring that up. Who was the one that the good Lord was a little upset with? It was the one who did nothing. He was the selfish one. It was the one that said, I'm going to keep it to myself. I don't want to spend it. I don't want to invest it. I don't want to give it because I have a scarcity mindset. But then the other ones, they were like, I planted and got onefold, twofold, fivefold. It doesn't matter what you get back in return. What matters is that you put it out there for others to enjoy, and you risked, you had faith, and you went out there and actually did something.
Now, can fear, because it's something that when people fear breaking away from their comfort zone, something that I was also mentioning last night in this conversation with my nephew, I told him, look, when you find yourself too comfortable, you begin to be less productive. Now, I'm not saying have a good time every so often. Even our creator, he created what? It took 6 days. And what happened on the seventh day? Took a break, right? So you have you can't expect to do 20% effort and work and then 80% having a good time. It's just that formula is not going to work. Do yourself a favor and focus on development and strategizing and improving 80%, and then enjoy 20% of your time.
Absolutely.
And reward yourself.
It's a life hack, man. You got to learn how to take care of the body, mind, and soul. And if you don't do all three of those things, it's like the triunity of God. If you don't learn how to maximize and take care of mind, body, soul, you're never going to have the bandwidth to do 80% of work, and you're going to default to Netflix. You're going to default to eating. You're going to default to being lazy. You're going to default to mediocrity. You're going to default to the government taking care of you. You're going to default to somebody else taking care of you. Sure. And you're going to default to just saying, these are the cards I'm dealt with. Oh, well.
Yeah.
That is not living, y'all.
That is not living. I mean, we all came to this world with 24 hours a day. What we do with our 24 hours is up to us. If we decide, because life is made up of choices, to sleep 12, 13-hour days, and then we watch TV for 4 hours or social media or whatever it is that we do, right? Netflix, all these things. Where's your day gone? It's for development, for expansion, for growth, right? So these are the kind of questions. It's challenging ourselves. I was a very shy kid when I was growing up. You can ask my siblings. I was shy. I was a dreamer, but I was shy. And I remember coming out of high school, I forced myself to join the military because I said, I have to break away. And I did. And I think it helped me tremendously. I joined the military. I learned a lot of stuff. I traveled the world, and I started becoming this other person. I started hanging out with sometimes not the best people, but I took it as a lessons learned. And then I started making better choices. And I've had my failures. My first marriage failed, and I have many reasons for it, which I've learned. Okay. And then I moved forward. So these are the kind of things that we can't stay stagnant. Like, what happens to stagnant water? If you drink stagnant water, it's not going to do you well. Yeah. If we're like running water, it's nice and fresh and stuff. You can drink that water, and it's going to help you.
There's the Dead Sea. In the Middle East, you have the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is dead. It's dense. You can actually, nothing is living. Go to Google and type in the Dead Sea. Nothing is alive in there because there's no outlet. The Dead Sea is dead because there's no outlet. Nothing comes in. So it's so dense. You get into that water, it's salt. You'll float to the top. And it's because there's no outlet. It's because it just takes, and it's dead. You need to have an outlet. That's why I always tell people, when you learn something, share it. It doesn't matter if you're not successful yet. Share it. It's a process. Imposter syndrome is going to come in hardcore. But as long as you're a student and you're learning and you're growing, take what you learn and share. Read, share. Read, teach. It doesn't matter if you are perfect, because nobody's perfect. But if you can go out there and share, then you're going to continue to grow.
Now, in closing, because we could certainly go on.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to ask you, if you were able to jump on a time machine and go back, I don't know, 20, 30 years. You're a young guy, so let's go with 20, right? Go back 20 years, you come out of this time machine and you encounter yourself. What would you tell yourself?
You know what? It's crazy. I at this mastermind that I just went to, my coach took us on a meditational journey, closed our eyes, and I won't get into the specifics, but we were able to close our eyes, meditate, and put ourselves on that journey. And I was able to go back to my little guy, my little self, and my current self had a conversation with my little self.
So you did go on a
Oh
time
yeah,
machine.
I did go on it. Guys, we have a superpower. It's right here.
Yeah, the mind is very powerful.
My gosh, science can't even comprehend or explain how the mind works, how the heart works. It was created by a limitless God. They're never going to understand. Space, keep going, scientists, keep going, telescopes. You're going to keep going and going and going and going and getting more and more confused. The deeper you go, the more confused you're going to be. It's almost like God has them on this. All right, keep trying. Go ahead. My vastness is going to far supersede you. So anyhow, I went back and I saw myself. And a simple word that I told myself is, everything is going to be okay. God is with you. That right there brought tears to my eyes. You're going to be okay. God is with you. And right when I told myself that, it was like everything that happened to me after that point, I knew it was happening for me and not to me, and that God is with me. He is my all. He is my everything. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is going to sustain me through everything. And then I came back to my present, and then we went to the future self. And it was just an amazing process, but that's another thing. But yeah, if I can go back 20 years from now, man, I would say it's going to be okay, little guy. God is with you.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everyone's time.
Absolutely.
Here at the Grimaldo Group, again, we love helping families create wealth through homeownership. And if you have any real estate needs, please give us a call. We're easy to reach. My number is 619-200-1534. And Angel, again, it was a great honor to have you with us.
Thank you.
And your information is on the screen as well. If you want to reach Angel, feel free to do so.
Get me on Facebook. My handle's at Angel L. Rivera. You can get me on Instagram, Angel L. Rivera, or you can go to motivatemymind.com. I have 3 podcasts out there. There it goes on the screen right now. Go check that out. I'm going to be uploading more podcasts starting next week. And that's just to help empower you. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, I'm here to help you reach your goals in life and in business, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And then when you're ready, and I help you reach them goals, then you're going to go talk to Angel, and we're going to buy you that amazing house that's on your vision board.
So from Angel, from one Puerto Rican to another Puerto Rican, Jersey, actually, I'm from Jersey. You're from Chicago.
That's right.
And we hope you have a wonderful day and the remaining week ahead, and enjoy the rest of the week that you have, and make it find the opportunities to succeed.
God bless, guys.
Thank you.